What is up, Packer fans? Packers lost in London 27-22 to the New York Giants in a game that was very lopsided based on the different halves. First half was the Packers basically dominated, jumped out to an early 10-0 lead in the first quarter. Giants scored 3 quickly after that. Packers scored another touchdown, one to Mercedes Lewis on a really nice play. They were up 17-3 early in the midway through the second quarter, and then later in the second quarter, right before half, a minute 22 before half, the Giants were able to score a touchdown on a weird little trick play to the tight end, making the score 17-10. And then right before half, Packers were able to get downfield, really nice drive, which is really promising, and get with time expiring, with no timeouts, and a fourth down, got the field goal unit out there. Crosby drilled a 48-yarder to make it 20-10 at halftime. Really promising going into the half with the lead. Obviously, we knew the Giants would get the ball to start the second half. Giants come out, 11-play, 56-yard drive, and kick a field goal, make the score 13-20. Packers come back out, can't get anything going at all. So then Giants, another drive, 11 plays. Oh, that was the drive they scored. So that was 11 plays, 56 yards, scored 13, scored 3. They made it 13-20 after halftime. And then Packers couldn't do anything with the ball, gave it back to the Giants, got the ball, and Giants came down and scored a touchdown. A 15-play, 91-yard drive. Packers couldn't stop the Giants on third down. They couldn't get off the field at all. They couldn't. It was like a first down, a couple yard gain. Second down would be a little quick, hitter to a guy in his check down for Jones and get them into like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and then they'd pick up the first down. And they just kept doing that. And the Packers defense couldn't stop them. Made the score 20-20, tied it up after the Packers were up 20-10 at half. Before the start of the fourth quarter, it was right early in the fourth quarter, 10 minutes to go. Brightwell scored, making it 20-20. Packers went 3 and out right away. After that 15-play, 91-yard drive, Packers went 3 and out. The defense was exhausted. It wasn't a great punt. It didn't go very far. It bounced off a Giants guy, and Keyshawn Nixon tried to grab it, and it squirted out of bounds. Giants got the ball in a really good field position. They got the ball at about the 40-yard line. They went 6 plays in 60 yards, really quick. Bam, bam, bam. Got a 40-yarder from Saquon. Darnell Savage missed the tackle. He had a poor game again. He graded so poorly against the Vikings PFF. He was the worst graded safety along with Amos. And then in this game, I can't imagine he's graded very highly. Saquon finishes out that drive with a touchdown, that 6-play, 60-yarder. Now the score is 27-20. Giants lead after the Packers were up 20-10 at halftime. The Giants scored 17 unanswered points in the second half, and then the Packers trying to drive down the field. They're running the ball, really moving the ball down the field. They have a really nice drive going, a bunch of plays, a bunch of yards. It was like 13 plays, 67 yards. 3rd and 2 from the 5-yard line, guys. 3rd and 2 from the 5-yard line. The first play on third down, they try to throw a quick one, and Rodgers throws it into like the shoulder, neck area, head of the Giant defender, and it bounces up and almost gets picked. 4th down, regroup, come out, and they try to throw a quick back shoulder to Lazard, and that gets batted at the line as well. 2 plays from 3rd and 2 at the goal line. You have A.J. Dillon. Give him the ball twice. He's going to get the 2 yards one way or the other. I just don't get it. I don't get it. You got to just run the ball. At least run the ball on 3rd down. If you don't get it, or if he gets blown up, or he doesn't get it, then maybe throw on 4th down, but maybe do a pass run option. Don't just have one call where it's the back shoulder and that's all that we have. That's putting all your eggs in one basket for a play you have to have. I think this Packers defense really struggled all game, obviously. They couldn't stop them on 3rd down. And huge plays that happened. So Preston Smith was the only sack for the Packers in the game. However, Jaron Reed and Rashawn Gary both sacked Daniel Jones, respectively, but on both sacks, either Douglas had illegal contact on a receiver downfield on Reed's sack, or Darnell Savage had an illegal contact down the field on Gary's sack. Both of them ended up with no sacks on the game. Packers only had one with no turnovers. Really struggled. Obviously, Packers, after they didn't score on that 4th and 2, the Giants got the ball back with not much time. Packers didn't have a lot of timeouts left, and the Giants ended up taking a safety with 11 seconds to go, making it 27-22. Packers would get the free kick, and they got the ball at about the 40-yard line, which was a decent. You could do a Hail Mary from there. I was hoping you had 7 seconds left. I was hoping for a quick 7 to 8 yard out with about 4 to 3 seconds left. But then you're at about the 50-yard line, and it's a lot easier Hail Mary from there. On first down with 7 seconds left, Bakhtiari false started. They were switching him and Yash out all game, and Yash was in there for most of the game. Bakhtiari was on the sideline for some of it. But for this very important pass protection set, they wanted Bakhtiari out there, the best pass blocking left tackle in football. And because he just didn't have the rhythm, he jumped a little early. That pushes them back 5 yards. Now they're 1st and 15 from the 35-yard line with 7 seconds to go, down 5. And now they try to just go for the Hail Mary. You're not going to throw it 75 yards in the air. You're just not going to do it. And I don't understand that they tried. Rodgers tried to buy some time, scramble around, and really fire it. And he was lining up the throw, and he just got crushed. So that was it. But there's a lot more to it than that. So Rodgers was 25 of 39, 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. Randall Cobb had 7 catches for 99 yards. Really big game for Randall Cobb. Really impressive. Allen Lazard, only 4 catches for 35 yards and a touchdown, but he did have a big drop. He did come back and complete the first down after that, but it just really sets off the rhythm of the drive. Romeo Doubs, 3 catches, 29 yards. If he keeps that 3 catches a game going, though, he will break Sterling Sharp's single-season record of 55 catches in a season, so something to watch for there. Otherwise, Aaron Jones, 13 carries, 63 yards, 4.8 average. And A.J. Dillon, 6 carries, 34 yards, 5.7 average. Why weren't these guys getting the ball more? Why is Rodgers throwing it 39 times in a game when you have the lead? I just don't get it. All they had to do was run the ball, run some clock. That 3 and out they went, it was all passes. 3 passes in a row, and they were tied. They just didn't. All they had to do was not give the ball back to the Giants on a 3 and out. That was the only thing they had to do there. They had to give their defense time to rest. They didn't do that. Defense comes back out to try to stop the Giants on a short field. They get smoked by Saquon for 40 yards, and then they get into the end zone. Just really bad all around. The defense just looks so out of position. I don't know if they partied too hard in London or what, but like I said, Darnell Savage was not right. There was no pressure really coming off the edge. No containment on Saquon or Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones always had some room up the middle. I just don't get it. On these zone defenses, the defenders are supposed to be looking at the quarterback, protecting their zone. Looking at the quarterback, protecting their zone. And you should be able to keep your eyes upfield. It seemed like they weren't even covering a receiver or covering. I mean, it was like, what are you guys doing? I was very, very unimpressed with how this Packers defense performed after being so dominant in the last few weeks. I really think this will be a wake-up call for the entire organization, for everybody from top to bottom. A lot of these young guys, they don't realize how hard it is to win in the NFL. So when they win these games that are close and that, they didn't play great, they think, oh, well, maybe we are better than we think. If we don't play great and we win, then but that's not how it works in the NFL. Like Rodgers said, the offense needs to perform. You can't always rely on the defense to make those big stops. And like it just happened, it bit us in the butt. Packers scored 2 points, 0 points on offense, 2 points in the second half, and that's not going to cut it in the NFL. The Giants scored, 17 points in the second half to the Packers 2. Really not going to cut it. Giants, though, Daniel Jones played probably one of his better games as a pro, 21-27. That's a 77% completion percentage, but he had that throughout the preseason. 217 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, but 108.5 QB rating. Saquon Barkley was out for most of the third quarter with a shoulder injury. He still finished with 13 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown. with a 40 long, and then he had 3 receptions for 36 yards with the 41 long. So he had 2 big plays of 40 yards. Then when Barkley was out, they put Matt Breida in. He had, a couple carries, a 10-yard long, which was good. But Daniel Jones, 10 carries, 37 yards, picking up 4 yards a carry. But it was usually on like a 3rd and 4 or a 2nd and 6, that he gained those yards and put them in a really manageable down and distance. Darius Slayton was the Giants' leading receiver with 6 catches, 79 yards. They didn't have anybody. Richie James was their leading receiver coming into the games. He had 2 catches. If you can't stop Darius Slayton, you don't deserve to win. And then the Giants on defense, Dexter Lawrence got to Rodgers on a big play that would have been a field goal for the Packers, but it knocked them out of field goal range. It would have been a long field goal for Crosby, but Dexter Lawrence pushed them back. That was the only sack for the Giants. Otherwise, good protection up front for the Packers, except for when they needed it on that 3rd down and 2 at the 2-minute warning. It was 3rd and 2. Tannen had just gotten out of bounds. You had the 2-minute warning. You had 2 timeouts. You had all the time to think about these plays, and you run these 2 quick throws where all the defenders have to do is get their hands up and block it. When you're trying to gun it in to tight windows, you need to have a clear line of sight, and I just don't understand the play. Run the ball, get a 1st down, keep the game going, keep the drive alive. You had 2 downs at 3rd and 2, and the Giant, if you would have spread him out and then ran it up the middle, he would have got the 2 yards. So aggravating. I love my Packers. They played really well in the first half. They could have done more, obviously, but the second half, Giants came out, scored right away, got that field goal. Packers couldn't do anything with it. They kind of drived a little bit, but that's when the one that Dexter Lawrence sacked, Rodgers knocked them out of field goal range. They had to punt it. They got the Giants within the 10, punted it within the 10-yard line. Another one for Pat O'Donnell where he does really well punting. And then the Giants drive it all the way down the field. Super long drive, really big drive right there for the Giants. Like I said, 15 plays, 91 yards. And that is what really sort of, tired out this Packers defense. That means, right away after that 91-yard drive, Packers went 3 and out, and then the Giants came back with a 6-play, 60-yarder for a touchdown. 2 touchdowns within 4 minutes of each other after the Packers pretty much held the Giants scoreless for most of the, out of the end zone except for that one to Bellinger at the end of the half. But for the most part, the Packers defense played really well. 2 touchdowns in that 4th quarter. Cannot win games in the NFL like that. Packers first quarter, 10 points. Second quarter, 10 points. Looking great. Giants only had 10 points in 2 quarters, so Packers had 10 points in 1 quarter twice. And then the 3rd quarter, 3 points for the Giants, no points for the Packers. That's a wash, kind of, you're still up 20-3. You have a lead going into the 4th, and then Giants scored 2 touchdowns in the 4th, and it was just the product of the defense being exhausted from being out there, not being able to get 3rd down stops, and the offense not doing their part to give the defense time to rest. Just shows, how much that Packers were relying on their defense to make stops. The offense did nothing in that second half, and they need to be able to move the ball. That last drive, they did. They had a nice drive going. I think, like I said, 13 plays, 67 yards, got down to the 5-yard line, and then stalled out at the goal line, which is usually where Rodgers is his money area. It's the gold zone, like Hackett used to say, but what does he know about the gold zone anyway? But, so time of possession, Giants led 32-28. Packers should have ran the ball a lot more. They were so pass-happy. 39 passes for Rodgers against Daniel Jones. You shouldn't have to pass it that much, especially when you're in the lead. I just don't get it. You have Jones, you have Dillon. They were averaging 5 yards a carry. Run the freaking ball. Packers only had 22 first downs to the Giants' 24 first downs. 338 total yards for the Giants and only 303 for the Packers. Packers, gave up more yards against the Giants than they had, I think, averaged all season. rushing yards for the Packers, only 94, 125 for the Giants. Packers should have ran the ball a lot more. They need to be up over 150 yards per game to really be able to win some of these, not put so much pressure on Rodgers and these young receivers. Watson got knocked out with an injury because they keep doing those stupid jet sweeps with him. He's 6'5" and skinny. Just send him streaking down the sideline. He'll burn the Giants' fifth corner because they were down to Dory Jackson and everybody else that they have. I just don't get the game plan. I don't get what Joe Barry does on defense with the zone scheme. Doesn't seem like anybody's being covered. Like the guys are covering their zone, but if a guy's in his zone, he's not trying to cover him. He's just like, oh, you're in my zone too, cool. It's like, dude, if you see a guy that's near you, go cover him. And then the one where Saquon got 40 yards, Breida was in the shotgun next to Daniel Jones. Saquon was in the slot, lined up right next to the tackle, right outside the tackle, and he just does a little drag route. Nobody picks him up. Daniel Jones hits him 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage, and then he's 35 yards down the sideline. Darnell Savage tried to make an open field tackle on Saquon, and you know Darnell's not going to do that. I don't understand the open field tackle misses. When I used to tackle, when I used to play, the guy's going to make moves. He's going to shift, but his hips, his waistline and his hips aren't going anywhere. As long he can move his legs all he wants, he can move his head all he wants, but wherever his hips go is where his body's going to go. So I would just go for his hips and wrap up and freaking bring him down. You're going for his legs, you're going for his ankles, you're trying to, like, you know, you're flailing your arms. That's not going to bring down a big running back like Saquon. You got to hit him and drive through him. And I know he's shifty and everything, but that's why you pick something that's not moving a lot. Don't look at his head, don't look at his arms, don't look at his legs, don't look at his knees. He's going to do all that stuff. His hips are going to tell you where he's going and where he's at. And I just don't understand that. Goes along with A.J. Dillon when he runs the ball. He needs to run like he is bigger and stronger than everybody. I'm so sick of him getting tackled from the first guy that touches him, or from the first hit, or from just, you know, stay on your feet and make them bring you to the ground. I just don't get it. Packers only 94 rushing yards. That's not going to win games for them. They need to rely on the run and use Rodgers when they need him. It should be run first, pass when you need it, and that should be how it goes. Packers had 7 penalties, while the Giants only had 6. Giants had that big pass interference to Toney that, you know, really helped the Packers there. But the Packers, those 2 sacks that had penalties with illegal contact downfield in the secondary really were, you know, drive ruiners, because not only does it eliminate the sack and the loss of yards and the loss of down and all that, it gives them a free first down and free yards. It just kept a lot of drives alive. 2 sacks. Gary had, you know, 1 sack a game. Now he's down to 5 in 5 games instead of 6 in 5 games. Really a bummer for him. It just, you know, it's so hard to get sacks in this league, and then when you finally get there and you got somebody on the back end who does something dumb that didn't need to be done, it really is discouraging. Packers had 61 plays and the Giants had 59 plays. 61 plays is not a lot of plays. Most teams average 70 plus. The game a few weeks ago, the Bills had over 90 plays on offense. Packers only had 61, which means they're not converting the third downs, and that means their defense is not stopping the other team on third downs and getting the ball back for the offense. Giants only had 59 plays, which means they're scoring. They had 32 minutes of possession and only 59 plays and only 24 first downs, which means that they're just pretty much dominating all aspects of the game, you know, keeping the ball. And it's just the Packers really jumped out early and looked like it was going to be an easy win, and then the Giants just stayed with it and kept in it, and Packers were just getting out of the realm of what they do well. Just run the ball. Run the ball. You have the best tandem in the league. The only tandem in the league that has over 1,000 yards combined and over 5 touchdowns. The only tandem in the league. Stick with them and use them. Hopefully, this was a great experience for all the Packers and all the players and everybody going to London. Hope they had fun. But this is the NFL season, and every game counts, and now they're going to have to bounce back in a big way at Lambeau next week against the Jets and win that game. Because if they don't, and they go to 3-3, as they go to Detroit, Washington, and Buffalo, not in that order, but 3 games on the road after they get back next week to play the Jets at Lambeau, if they lose to the Jets, they're 3-3, and then they go on a 3-game road trip. They could be 3-6 by the end of it, and the season that looks so promising at 3-1 could really falter very quickly. So it's important the Packers figure out what they did wrong and fix it. Hopefully, it was just the sign of the whole experience as a whole. It looked like the Packers defense was exhausted in that second half. I don't blame them after that 16-play, 91-yard drive, like I was saying, but they really shouldn't struggle so much. You know, they should be able to they were so good on third down. They were the number one team in the league on third downs. Not be able to get Daniel Jones stopped and have him just pick you apart. Really tough. So not even a lot of bright spots, really. Josiah DeGuara made a nice play. Romeo Doubs only had 3 catches, like I said. He's on pace to break that. But Randall Cobb, 7 catches, 99 yards, had a 35 long. That's huge for him. I love to see that. He's a guy that, like everybody said, no one wants him. Goody only wants him here because Rodgers wants him here. But he really was the best receiver of the day for the Packers. No one else seemed to step up. Lazard dropped an easy one. It looked tough all around. And this defense Campbell and Walker, I didn't hear their names at all, and Preston Smith got his sack, so he's up to 3.5 on the year, so that's awesome. But on the back end, Douglas, Stokes, and Jair, it didn't seem like they were even out there. I didn't hear them break up a pass. I didn't hear them make any tackles. It really was tough to watch, and it looked like the Packers just had better players and a better team all around so that they were going to be able to get this win because they did jump out to such an early lead. Like I said, 10-0 and then 20-10. Like they had 2 different 10-point leads and they let the Giants stay in it and then kept kind of shooting themselves in the foot and no turnovers, no real huge penalties that ended drives or anything. Just bad play calling, it seemed like. Run the ball. Maintain possession. Let your defense rest. I just don't understand throwing it so much 39 times against this Giants team when you have the lead. Absolutely unacceptable, LaFleur. I know it's a pass-happy league. I know it's an offensive league, but it's about winning games, and this is a game you guys should have won, and you didn't. I know it's tough. Packers losing, especially getting up early, getting all excited, getting pumped for the game, 8:30 action, knowing that you got 12 hours of football today with the Packers being early, and it's just a tough week after they lose. It's always, hearing about all the shit they did wrong, all the stuff they could have done better, hearing them talk about, we did this wrong and that. It's like, gosh, guys, I hope they go back and watch that and really see that they let this one slip away and they were the better team. But the Giants, came out, whatever they did. See, this is the issue. Giants came out, second half adjustments. They really, made some drives stick, played good defense. They had a long drive, got the ball back, had a long drive, got the ball back, had the long drive. There was no issues with their offense in that second half. Packers didn't make any adjustments to fix any of that. No, third to fourth quarter adjustments after they stalled in the third a little bit. And it just looks like Joe Barry's defense was not prepared at all. And it looks like LaFleur just wasn't ready for the play calls. 3rd and 2 from the 5. In Madden, I would just run it 3rd and 2 up the middle, run it 4th and 2 up the middle. Even if they did a run commit on 3rd down, I'm hurrying up offense and I'm running A.J. Dillon right back up the middle. Just because I don't think they're going to be able to stop him twice on a 1-yard carry. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. And the Packers have been running the ball so well that drive, really knocking down the field. That's where they gained most of their rushing yards, was on that last drive of the game. And they needed to score. They needed to get down there. They used the run game to get down there when everybody thought they'd pass it to get down there, but they were running it to get down there, and then they get down there and they throw it twice, and it gets batted down twice, and the last play, the fourth down play, was a back shoulder, which really only leaves one option, one route, one chance, one player versus another player, and Rodgers has to make a perfect throw. All those things have to be perfect in order for them to score on that play, and I just don't get it. Why not just go 4 wide, maybe have the tight end, but split them out, Dillon in the backfield with you, 3rd and 2, hand it to Dillon, right up the middle. If he doesn't get it, maybe he gets a yard. Then you do it again, right up the middle, spread them out. If you spread them out, you do a run-pass option. If they don't, if they're not committing to the run, then you can run it. If they are committing to the run, then maybe you can get a one-on-one on 3rd down, a quick slant or something, but that was not the idea. It was a pass the whole time. It wasn't a run-pass option. And then a 4th down, I wouldn't have just stuck them all in one basket. I would have had an option where Rodgers is rolling out, maybe a tight end in front of him, maybe a drag behind him, and then maybe a guy way behind him. 3 different layers of options for Rodgers to throw it to, and then an option to run it as well. He could have got a 1st down without scoring the touchdown. That is what is such an issue here. It's like you don't need the touchdown this play. Just get the 1st down, keep the drive alive, and the Packers would have had a chance to win. Obviously, at the end of the game, there was a lot of weird stuff that happened with that punt, the safety. And what that time was expiring, it was about to hit 0, and then they bumped the clock back up to 18, and then no one called a timeout, but the clock stopped, and there was a big delay, and everybody was trying to figure out, but no one called time. I was just so confused. It didn't make any sense. And it looked like the Giants got free time, or they added time, or they helped them a little bit. It should have been a delay of game. Clock should have stopped. Should have backed them up. They should have been forced to punt. And the Packers should have had at least 15 seconds when the punt was punted. And so they would have had a couple of seconds left to at least try to get something, And then obviously, most hope was lost at that point for a Hail Mary win. Obviously, Rodgers had success in the past with Hail Marys. Obviously, he had success against the Giants in the playoffs, in the 2016 playoffs, or wild card, with a Hail Mary. And so, we were hopeful, but when Bakhtiari false started, you basically are screwed. I still would have done it. You had 7 seconds. You could have got a 4-second route where a guy ran 10 yards and a quick out, catch it out of bounds, and now you at least have a little bit of an easier throw. Rodgers is really trying to get by some time for his guys to get down there so that he could launch it. And by the time his guys got down there and he got lined up to launch it, he got crushed, like I said. But if it was closer, they don't take as long to get down there. You don't need to take as much time to set up and throw, and maybe there would have been a chance. But Packers lose 27-22 in a game they should have won. Hopefully it's going to teach all these guys, you do win in this league sometimes games that you shouldn't win, and then a lot of times you'll lose games that you should win because you let the team get away, or you make a mistake at a key pivotal moment or something like that. Every play is huge. You never know which play is going to mean the most or be super pivotal. 2 sacks erased by illegal contact penalties on the defense is absolutely unacceptable, and it cannot be allowed at all. You can't have Douglas and Savage, 2 of your biggest playmakers on the defensive side of the ball, having penalties like that hinder the defense from having success. Both of those were automatic 1st downs and led 2 points for the Giants because the drive was sustained. The Gary sack was a big sack, would have been a huge momentum, way back in their own territory. Same thing with the Reed sack, really got after them, really big plays, and obviously lost of yards. It's not a loss of down, but the down, they don't gain any yards on the down. They lost the yards, so it is kind of a loss of down, loss of yards, and now it's, tougher to convert the 3rd down, and Packers just kept letting them get off the hook and then giving them chances and then just keeping them in it. So tough. I'm going to watch some of the press conferences and everything, and I'll do more of a in-depth analysis of the game after. This is just my first initial reaction to the game. Such a bummer. Packers lose 27-22 in the fourth quarter. I thought if the Packers scored a touchdown there, we would be going to overtime again. I don't know if I would have been ready for overtime, and I don't know if the Packers defense could have handled in overtime, but maybe if the Packers offense would have got out to an early lead, if they would have got the ball early in halftime, maybe they wouldn't have had a play defense if they could have scored right away on offense. But if the defense would have been out there, I think the Giants would have just went down the field and scored a touchdown, and we don't need to see an extended loss. We don't need to drag out the misery any longer than it already is. So, tough, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the Packers game against the Giants in London in the comments below. Let me know what you think the keys of the game were and what you think the Packers need to do better next time, especially against the New York Jets next week when they bring Zach Wilson in for his first game at Lambeau. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, don't forget to comment about what you think about this Packers game in the comments below. And I will see you guys next time. Go Packers, go Packers, go. Still a Packer fan for life. Go Packers. Love you guys. Peace out. And I'll see you guys next time.